everyone, it's Nina from ROADIE Free Radio. In this clip, Larry talks to Chez Stock, FOH engineer and tour manager for the likes of Amanda Palmer, Tool, The Black Keys, Eminem, and more. What do Larry Milburn and Amanda Palmer have in common? Patreon. Here's Chez on Amanda Palmer's unique crowdfunding business model that frees her from record labels. If you want to hear more from Chez, you can listen to the full episode, number 132, from April 22nd, 2019. Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Here's Larry and Chez Stock.
I don't know if you know much about Patreon, the
Chez, it's funny that you say that.
Fundraising.
I actually have a Patreon account here for ROADIE Free Radio, and for as low as $1 a month, you can sign up and help keep this show rolling.
Oh, amazing!
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna sign up. I'm 100% a believer in Patreon.
It's really cool.
It's so amazing, and it's the only way that Amanda makes money. Like she makes money through her music, but not really. Yeah. Nobody makes money on their music. Most people make their money doing syncs, doing corporate sponsorships, putting their music in commercials. And she doesn't have to do that because she has a Patreon with like 15,000 people.
Wow.
Yeah, like killing it. And she's been doing the crowdfunding thing for quite some time. She did Kickstarter at first and then moved to Patreon. And she's like the shining glory of Patreon. Like I didn't even know how comprehensive it was.
Does she do a lot of sort of, the outreach in between? There's a lot of different ways you can set it up where you're just talking to those fans individually. I haven't jumped into that too much yet, but I'm going to have to.
You should. The community is pretty amazing. She definitely is very involved with her community. She does a lot of Patreon-only releases. She creates content with her Patreons. I want to say 2 of the songs on her record were like input from Patreons, like crowdsourcing, like lyrics almost. Like she made a post asking people what they were afraid of, and she incorporated all of those comments into a song.
Wow.
And it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. But because of that, she doesn't have a label. She's not beholden to Warner Brothers or any of the majors. She distributes independently. And it's very freeing. Like we're only beholden to ourselves. It's kind of awesome.
That's incredible. That's really, really cool. Good for her.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go over and check that out on Patreon because
you should.
I know it's an amazing platform. Obviously, I use it. There's and she would probably look at me and be like, "Shut up, dude. It's what you got to do." But there are so many.
No way.
There are so many strands to all of this stuff, right? Between like the podcast audience, YouTube audience, Patreon audience, just all the stuff to keep going all the time. But
yeah, it's a lot. And she, at the level that she is with her 15,000 Patreons,
so cool.
She has her personal assistant who's on the road with us helping. Basically, he mans the Patreon table. And it's a table where anybody can come up and ask for information about Patreon, how to sign up for her Patreon. Existing patrons can come up and we have like special little gifts for them. We do a lot of incentives with them. We offer them guest list spots. We invite them to after show events. They always get first crack at all of her ticket sales, kind of like fan club release kind of stuff. Yeah. And then she has a full-time Patreon manager at her office back in New York. So somebody that is literally working full-time, just managing her Patreon account, making sure that she is following her schedule, making sure that her things are going out when they're supposed to be going out, resolving any billing issues. And everybody in her camp, including myself, we're all incredibly accessible to the fans. Like if people need something, it's so easy for them to contact us. If they go to merch and there's not a 6X size for them, we give them an email account, they email us, and we send them a shirt in whatever size they want. This tour and Amanda just in general, is all about making sure everybody is included and everybody has a chance.
Yeah. It's so awesome because in a lot of ways, what's happening now, it's possible now in terms of fan outreach has kind of been there all along, but particularly in that 90s group of like the Dave Matthews Band and Fish and, that world, and Joan Jett to a large degree, right? Just selling music out of the back of your car. But now you really can cut out the middleman. I mean, in some ways, it's nice to have that infrastructure behind you.
Right. I mean, the system exists for a reason, and the system works a certain way to benefit certain people within the system.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't ever see a different way of doing it. I think I was lucky because when I was in school for like college, I took some business classes, and I had an instructor that was an indie guy, and he was like, you got to find your niche and you have to embrace it, and you got to find your people because you don't need the structure if you find your people directly.
Right.
You just have to figure out how to get to them directly.
Right.
And Patreon is such an amazing way for artists to do that. I don't know why more people don't do it. I mean, it's work. It really is work.
I think that's a big part of it. But yeah, and it's also, that thing, I can't remember who the guy is, but someone wrote that paper about you only need 1,000 fans. You need 1,000 diehard fans. That's what you need. So, 1,000 people that are going to buy everything that you put out, listen to everything you put out.
And talk to other people.
But if you have that 1,000, you're good. Hey, what's happening, roadies? It's Larry here. Just wanted to thank you so much for listening to this short clip. I really hope you got something out of it. If you can take 2 seconds to head over to iTunes and drop us a review or a comment, we would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Keep listening, keep coming back, stay healthy out there, and remember, no roadies, no rock and roll.